Oh,
Wow. What the heck?
it won't let me. It said that I have to get for it to do it on X. I have to have a premium account, so I'm gonna remove it because I don't have a.
Okay.
I don't pay yet.
I got it. I
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry about that, folks. A little bit of glitch, but I want you to welcome Alison Johnson, Allie, however you prefer. Is it
Whatever.
Allie, Allison?
Yeah.
Hey, you. What?
Exactly. That's right.
But I barely met Allison at Allie at KPL this year, and we barely got to talk at all. But I knew I wanted to get her on the channel to tell her story because I've been I told her backstage, I've been catching bits and pieces of some of her videos, catching some of her story as I go through. And I think this is one that everybody needs to hear. Just like, it's important for us all to hear each other's stories, and because we can all help each other out by picking up little things here and there from each other. And it's just, I'm so thankful you're here. And thanks for agreeing to do this. And I'm going to go through a little bit, the little chat that we have so far. And you can, the stage will be yours.
Okay.
Dustin, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for the story. You're both awesome.
Thank you. Hi, Dustin.
Evelyn saying hello.
Hi.
I'm Zadie. I'm Zadai. I don't know how to say it, but hello and thank you for joining us. This is Lynn. So Cindy, Allison, Dustin, Evelyn. Good evening. Good evening. Jeff Foltz. I got to tell you, and I tell everybody this. We went to a Columbus meetup, my husband and I, in Ohio, and Jeff came over to our table. He said, I want to meet the guinea pig. It's like, not me, just my husband.
Yeah.
Hello, Kay. Thank you for joining us. And Nan, met her at KPL too.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hello. Hello. This is James. Oh, okay. James, you're being incognito here.
Yeah. Hi.
Karen,
Karen.
hello.
Yeah.
And she's saying hello. So, Allie, what got you started on your journey for weight loss, better health, all that kind of thing?
Okay. So in around September of 2022, my dad had died in February and he had a fatal heart attack. And I was like, oh my goodness, after a lot of the numbness wore off from losing him, I started thinking about my health. I was 47. I had just turned 47 and I was overweight, which I knew that I was overweight, right? And I thought, well, I'm going to learn about intermittent fasting. So I started learning about that, and I kind of tried it, and I thought, oh, am I going to do this? But then I knew the holidays were coming and I knew I wasn't prepared to do any major changes because I was always a first of the month, first of the week, Monday, we're going to start, that kind of thing. And so went through the holidays, and in January, the middle of January of 2023, I was eating, I had meal planned and meal prepped, and I was going to eat all these things. And it was a lot of like broccoli salad. It was very veggie heavy, and nightshades and chili and nuts and seeds. I was doing like smoothies and lots of kale and that kind of thing, and not very much protein at all. I'd never been much of a meat eater. And if I did eat meat, it was maybe taco, meat or bacon. I've always liked bacon. So that was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bacon and eggs.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but I just never ate much of that. And so I taste tested something I was eating or that I had meal prepped. And I had this sudden reaction. Like I walked from my kitchen into my living room to the TV room, and my whole neck and my chest were red, bright red. And I am very prone to getting flushed, but I was like really kind of hot, and it was itching inside my ears.
Wow.
And I was like trying to scratch, and my chest got tight, and I had a reaction to something I had eaten. And I was like, this is bad. The other important thing was I have uveitis, which is inflammation in the eye. And it started bothering me. My eye started bothering me, and uveitis is it's horrible. So I was scared. I took a Benadryl and I tried to tried to sleep, but it was not easy. So anyway, the next morning it led me to notice that what I ate caused that, because I never really paid attention to any of that kind of thing. And so I started Googling, because like I was scared. And so I started Googling like detox diets, because I was a little bit familiar with like elimination diets and that kind of thing. And I ran across Michaela Peterson, and her background with autoimmune illness was very similar to what I had experienced in my younger days, from my 20s until my 40s. And so I thought, well, I'll try this for about 2 weeks. I'll just eat hamburgers and salt water. I was like, and I'm a very extreme person, so I am all or nothing. And I've since learned that I am an abstainer. That's, common to me. So I was like, I'll do this for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, what I noticed first was my inflammation that I've had since I was in my early 20s started to go down. Now, in the last 10 to 12 years, my inflammation had gotten really, I was really inflamed. I was really overweight, that kind of thing. So I started flushing out that inflammation, flushing out some water weight. And the other thing I noticed was within like 3 or 4 days, I hadn't even thought about drinking wine. And I was drinking a lot, really, to be honest. I was drinking a lot, and I had been for a couple of years. And so the nighttime routine of getting the wine and watching the TV shows was just like ingrained in my routine. And it hadn't even occurred to me. And I was like, wow, well, that's pretty cool, because I was thinking, I was just so focused on eating the meat. And so after 2 weeks, I did kind of start eating more like beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. By that time, I had found Dr. Barry, and I started binging his videos. And because I had a lot of questions about the specific medical issues, am I going to have a heart attack? Am I going to, is my cholesterol going to go crazy? And, all these things. And I just started learning about the carnivore diet, and I started watching a lot of videos of people, just regular people also. Like, how are these people living? Can you just live on meat and bacon and eggs? And it turns out, spoiler alert, you can, because I've been doing that since, January of last year. And in that time, I have healed my inflammation, my insulin resistance. I reversed pre-diabetes. I went back and looked in my records because I had like 25 lab tests when I had uveitis the first time, which was in 2019. And so interestingly, one of the risk factors of diabetes is uveitis, along with like a lot of autoimmune illnesses, or Lyme disease, ankylosing spondylitis. Is that how you say it? But all of these different types of things. And when I had that panel done in 2019, I was working very closely with an eye specialist, and she's like, no, we don't know the root cause. And she is a wonderful, wonderful physician, but she didn't tell me at the time. I was 6.0, my A1C. So I was pre-diabetic, and I had been probably for years, honestly. So I just, I reversed that. I started feeling great. My anxiety started to reduce like a lot. And that was one of my biggest struggles, was severe anxiety. And I started feeling better and wanting to do things, and I could think again. And I had forgotten what it was like to think and look forward to things and to be, excited about my life. And so I just saw all of those improvements, and a lot of them were pretty quick and quick enough to keep me going on, being on this weird restrictive diet, and nobody in my real life was doing it. So, except I will say Dale, my husband Dale, did start he's about a month behind me. Dale is super competitive. And so part of it, I was like, oh, it's a healthy competition thing. So he and I were doing this, but I was doing it, and I still do it because I feel like my life depends on it, and it's been life-changing, and I'm happy to eat my triple B&E every day.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know I've done the egg fast.
Yeah.
I've done several times. The last time I did it for 7 days, and man, I'll tell you, with the exception of not getting enough protein in, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw this up here if anybody has any questions for you.
Okay. All right.
And go on from there.
Okay.
So I just want to address number one savage. That's from your channel.
Oh, hey.
Saying hi. Yep. And anyway, Brenda Jones is here saying hi. But look, Karen, let me see. Karen I saw this before. She said she loves your Instagrams.
Oh, thank you, Karen. I have a lot of fun with the Instagram stuff. I love doing that. And I like doing reels and stuff. I had actually gotten off Facebook for around 2018. So just so you know, if you get off of something like that, and then you go back on, it was it's like a world of difference. It's not like riding a bike. I'm like, why can't I figure out how to, do Facebook anymore? But I'm trying to be a little more active on Facebook also. So I like doing those reels though.
Yeah. Jeff said it's great that your spouse is on board, and I can attest to that because when Brian jumped on board after me, it was great.
Yeah. It really helps. It really helps.
Number one savage, my life has changed too. 29 months of carnivore.
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I know watching some of your videos, you had mentioned Meniere's.
Yes.
And tinnitus.
Yes.
Vertigo.
Yes.
How's all that going?
Well, okay. So I'll try to keep it quick because I can ramble. Okay. So when I was 23, that was 1998. I was just, I had gotten out of college, and I had just gotten my job at the lab. It had nothing to do with my college degree, but I was working in a lab, and I had this episode while I was at work, and I got really, really dizzy, really dizzy. And so I had a sinus infection. I had sinus infections and strep throat my whole life. And so this was nothing new, but I was at a doctor's office picking up a lab specimen to drive back to the hospital. And I looked over my shoulder. I can remember it to this day. And I turned back around, and I was dizzy. And have you ever had inner ear, like a infection or anything? Dizziness like that it's horrible, and you can't do anything about it. So I get back, and I start getting really sick, and my mom was a nurse at that hospital. So I called her. I'm like, Mom, something's wrong. I need you to drive me home. So she did. And the next day I was very, very fortunate. The next day I went to a specialist, an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And he asked me some questions, and he used a tuning fork, and he was like, can you hear this? And I had this fullness and loudness in my ear with the tinnitus also. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't hear low level frequencies very well. And so he says, well, you have something that's called Meniere's disease. And he's like, we don't know what causes it. It's autoimmune, and this is it. That's it. They just tell you they don't know what causes it. There's nothing he said, I want you to start taking a diuretic, a water pill, and that'll help keep the inflammation down. And I want you to eat a low salt diet, and no caffeine, no alcohol, and that's it. And he handed me a brochure, a pamphlet, because it was the 90s. And so there was no internet or anything like that. And so I was like, okay. So I did all that. And Meniere's is like, it's a really, not many people knew about it back then. Like I didn't know anybody that had it. It wasn't even for years that I ever ran across anybody that knew what it was. And if it was someone, it was like somebody's grandpa. It was somebody older. And so I was super young. So I did okay for a while. And then as the years went on, I would have more trouble during like if I got a cold or head cold or whatever, I just have different stressors. If I got stressed, that kind of thing, I started having more and more problems. So I started doing more, going to the doctor and saying, well, what's next? And they'd say, okay, you got to have surgery. Okay. What is it? It's outpatient surgery. They're going to go in there and put in a pop-off valve, kind of like that, to help with the inflammation. No root cause, no nothing. And I did, in the very beginning, I did adhere to the dietary advice, but it didn't seem to matter. It didn't really seem to matter. So I had the shunt put in. It worked for a while. Then I got pregnant with my second daughter and started having a lot of problems. So I went in, the specialist said, okay, well now my hearing is lowered, it's not as good. He said, well, let's do these injections into your inner ear. And it's a chemical labyrinthectomy. So it does something to deaden that nerve. I said, okay. So I did that. Nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked. The treatment path is exactly the same today as it was in 1998. And there's been one medication that came on the scene after, like years after. And it's like, it's like an antihistamine type thing. I don't know anything about it because I didn't do it, but that's the only real innovation that they've had in 26 years. And so,
wow.
Yeah. And so every time I'm having these episodes, it's damaging my hearing. So by the time I've had it for, so 10 to 12 years, my hearing is trashed. It's gone, it's bad. And so, I did the injections, they'd help. And then, like 6 months, it would come back or something like that. So I got really, really bad off. My girls were 7 and 4 at the time. It was in 2014. And like, I was debilitated most of the time. I couldn't I wasn't reliable working. And I had medical leave, family medical leave, intermittent. And it was life. It was just debilitating. And I thought, I can't live this way. So I did research and I found a specialist, like a surgical specialist. And I found out that you can have a labyrinthectomy. They go in and they drill out your inner ear. And I couldn't hear anyway, because they're like, so I go into the specialist and I'm like, doctor, you got to do this. And I was 38. So I was young. And he said, well, here's some caution. You have to think, if you develop Meniere's in your other ear, this is that's something you need to think about. And he said, it's also not just your hearing, it's your balance. So you have a balance system inside, both your
right.
And he's like, you're going to have to relearn how to do this. And it's a major, major surgery. It's not outpatient. I was kind of in the ICU, and they have to go in and they drill it out. And your brain has to relearn how to move your body from the signals it's getting from your eyes. And so I was like, I can't go on like this. So I'm going to do it. And I said, oh, but what about my tinnitus? Will that go away? And he said, no. Tinnitus is like a head noise. They don't know a lot about it, what causes it and why it happens. So I still have ringing in my ears.
I have it.
Yeah.
It's going now. It's like,
yeah, even though
crazy.
I can't hear. Yeah. So I did that treatment in 2014. So it's been 10 years ago. And that treatment did give me my life back. Like within 3 months, I was on a road trip and that is incredible because I couldn't do anything because it would happen. It could just happen at any time. There was no rhyme or reason. I had no warning. It was debilitating. So that gave me my life back. But I always will think, I will always wonder if I had known to address the inflammation and what was causing my inflammation, who knows, I would be like a superhero now, Cindy. It'd be like such, it would have changed my life, but that was not, meant to be. So that is my Meniere's story. What I believe that carnivore does for me now, it keeps my inflammation low because I'm 10 years out from the labyrinthectomy, and there is a chance that I could develop in my other ear, but I don't think I will because I don't have overall, full body inflammation any longer.
Right.
So, yeah. So that really
totally are eating the way we should have been.
Yeah.
And improved your health drastically.
Yes.
So,
yes. Hi.
We have some special visitors. Hello, my friends. We love you guys. Cindy, you rock. Allie, you're an inspiration. Proud of both of you. Thank you so much, Chris. And we got Ash. Hey, Cindy and Allie and everyone in the chat. She says, thank you, Allie, for sharing your story. You're an inspiration, girl.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, I have dealt with the tinnitus. That alone is no fun.
Yeah.
I've had occasional vertigo. When we first moved here to Kentucky, we were putting a bookcase together.
Yeah.
And all I did was bend over to help my husband. I thought I was going to pass out.
Yeah.
So it goes, it comes and goes a little bit,
Yeah.
Lately it's been coming along.
Yeah.
So hearing your story, I'm not going to, wow, I can imagine the shots in the ears.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
that hurts.
Yeah. It was something. I did 3 over the course, not all at once, but I did 3 rounds of injections. So the first time I was pregnant with Sophie, and I was in the first trimester, the hormones are going crazy. My ear was going crazy. So I had 3 that time. And then a few years later, I can't remember. I had 3 more. Let's see if that works. And then, that was in 2013. And then it was another series I did 4 more before I had the surgery because my doctor was like, well, let's try it again, because that surgery is a last ditch. It's the new option. So I said, okay. And it didn't work. And, I was like, drill it out, but the low salt recommendation is, I don't know. There's not a lot of research that say diuretics and low salt diets really help inflammation. And I know my inflammation was because of insulin resistance. I'm pretty sure I've had insulin resistance since I was in my teens, probably since puberty, truly. But
I would like to hope that diuretics help because I do take them.
My condition. Yeah.
Right. I have lymphedema in both of my legs. Yeah. So I would like to hope and pray.
Yes. Right.
To help keep that at bay because I've seen pictures that are just horrifying to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's,
I meant for
like,
many years. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
But I get it. Any inflammation, I mean, that's what causes pain everywhere.
Yeah.
And even without going carnivore, keto, I mean, when I'm all or nothing person, when I started keto, I went from eating the crap to eating 20 carbs or less the next day.
Yeah.
And I didn't look back. It was like, now I'm a little, the Chalk Zero is in my life, and especially obviously Keto Chow is.
Right.
Everybody that listens to me knows that. And, once in a great while, Brian and I will go out and I'll get something on the tortillas or, and it really doesn't bother me, and then we're right back to mainly meat because I don't usually cook any vegetables.
Right. Yeah.
Usually, it's like, it's very rare. So it's like, we're mostly, I guess, ketovore with keto chow.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I would love to be able to, I can't really tolerate a lot of things. And
Mhm.
I can't tolerate spices even very well still. And so I'm like, golly, I would love to be able to do keto, but without the veggies, because I've never liked veggies that much. I would like cucumbers. I do like cucumbers, but I don't miss veggies. We didn't grow up eating them really. And I never liked fruit. So I'm like, well, but I would love to be able to tolerate more food. And, maybe I will get there. I like to
Yeah.
continue to try things, within low carb, spectrum. Um, but yeah, so.
Right. Well, that's where beef, butter, bacon, and eggs comes into play. That it's the elimination of the century. It's like,
Yes.
I did that for 31 days,
Yeah.
including giving up my Diet Pepsi. And I did not give that up from the start,
Yeah.
except that 31 days.
Yeah.
And everybody said, reintroduce things slowly. So I'm
Yes.
like,
I'm not good at that.
that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But everything I tried, everything I ate after that, it was like, thank goodness there
Yeah.
were no problems. I feel so, it's heart wrenching to hear, people can't do this or can't do that because it
Yeah.
bothers their system,
Yeah.
not just because they don't want to, but when you want to reincorporate something
Mhm.
and you can't
Yeah.
because it has an adverse effect. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss dairy. I miss dairy a lot,
Mhm.
but I do tolerate a little bit of cream. Like, I mean, I can do it. I know what to expect. I know that I might have, like some skin issues, which that's not major. I do usually get a little of inflammation does come back a little bit, like with pain,
Wow.
joint pain. And I can recognize it now. I'm like, oh, I'm a little achy. And then I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I had cream in my coffee or whatever. And I've never given up coffee. I drank coffee from day one. And I was, I cut everything else out. But you know what? I'm not willing to give up my coffee. I'm not.
Well, I think everybody in the chat knows, most everybody knows, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
I don't drink tea.
Yeah.
My drink of choice is a Diet Pepsi,
Yeah.
however good or bad it might be. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
it
Yeah.
is what it is.
I liked Diet Coke, but I haven't ever tried, I haven't ever missed it enough. I drink seltzer water. I drink unflavored water, and so that's for me, but I know what you mean. We got to be willing to do it, or be like, oh, I'm doing fine with coffee, and in your case, Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, if it's fountain, it's Diet Coke. If it's can or bottle, it's Diet Pepsi.
Yeah,
Jeff has a question for you, I would imagine. Do you sleep well?
I do. I sleep really well, and that was one of the best things about it. Um, I was always I for like since I had started having kids, I would have racing, intrusive thoughts. It had gotten much worse since probably 2016, where I read every night before I fall asleep. I have since I was a kid. And so I would read, and then I couldn't read anything that was, upsetting. We couldn't talk about anything that was upsetting before, like 2 hours before I'd go to bed, because I would sit and obsessively fixate on the worst possible scenarios. And it would take me forever to fall asleep. And then when I did fall asleep, I'd wake up in the middle of the night because I am of a certain age now, and my hormones and, and lack of levels. And so I'd wake up and be hot and sweaty. And then, I'd fall back to sleep and then want to stay in bed, sleep in. So that has been my life for a long, long time. That had been. And I don't know when it happened, but I sleep like a champ now, and I wake up naturally around the time the sun rises, and I'm ready to get up and get out. I don't have any trouble falling asleep. I can't even read like a full page on my Kindle or a full couple pages because I get so sleepy so quickly, and I sleep through the night. And that's incredible because I'm 49 now. And so, and I am definitely in perimenopause. So, it's incredible. So I sleep.
You're still young.
I am still young. I'm still feeling young, but
Yes. Karen says, are you having to cook differently for your girls, or does Dale take care of that since you're pretty strict carnivore?
I don't cook differently for the girls. We don't buy a lot of snacks either. And listen, they're not very thrilled about it. So my oldest daughter is 18. She just turned 18. And my youngest daughter is 15. And so, they have begrudgingly come to realize that this is our life now. And so they have food, there's always food. I don't, limit them or anything, but I don't cook a lot either. I don't like make big meals. I never have though. And so, we have bacon and eggs. I'll make them bacon and eggs every morning. I happily get up and make them bacon and eggs, and they have that. And, so we don't really do anything differently now. And that has just evolved as we've been doing this for a while. I cook them some of their, I cook things for them that, I'm not going to necessarily eat, but I don't spend a lot of time cooking. I use my air fryer as much as possible. I use my skillet to, fry eggs, but that's it. It's just two things. So
it sounds like I live in your house.
Yeah. I've never liked to cook. It's always stressed me out. And so this is like so easy and so perfect for me. So
I don't mind the cooking part, but I find myself using the skillet and the air fryer more than anything, like you were saying. And Chris, God bless him. He's got the best recipes in the world. And I got to tell you, real quick, I'll say hi to Brenda. She's here. And Rick's here. Thank you, Rick. Lost track of time. No problem. But Chris is the biggest genius in the kitchen.
Yes. Yes.
When we were invited to their house so that I could cook with Chris.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Watching them in action was so amazing. It was like they're two of the most down-to-earth people. And just as pleasant, and they're great.
I know.
I was a nervous wreck going in there though.
I bet.
All the way to their house, I'm telling Brian, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Oh, I know. I like to watch the videos, just, that saying, the people can't do, they teach or whatever. So I just like to watch the videos because it's not something that I'm most likely going to do, but I like to watch it. I like that.
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I made of his was the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
They were so delicious.
Yeah.
Then I made the version 2 for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I like the first one better.
Really?
I don't know what I did wrong for the second one, but Ash says, Allie, I'm with you. Cooking stresses me out.
Yeah.
Chris says, despite what many may think, I totally get it. Cooking isn't fun for everyone like it is for me.
Yeah.
But that's a great benefit of this way of eating. It can be whatever you want it to be. Cindy, you're so sweet. Mm-hmm. But you guys are. And I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
They're just really what they portray themselves as on their videos. They are exactly those people.
Yes,
they're just. Yeah.
They're wonderful. So we were in line. Dale and I were in line, and I knew who Chris was, and I knew who Ash was, and so I saw him over there. We were in line for to go in to register at KPL. And I knew who they were. There, people were talking to him, like, oh. And so Dale went, and I'd gotten something. I got an iced coffee, just black, and it was way too strong, and it was too late in the day. And I was like, oh no. And so I said to Dale, I don't know. We were in line and he threw it away for me. So he stepped out of line. And when he stepped out of line, I turned around and I said, "Hi, I know who you are. And I'm Allie." And Ash gave me a big hug. And Chris gave me a big hug. And then Dale comes back over and I had just said, well, my husband Dale's getting ready to walk back over. And it was the best. I still can see his face. He walks over and Ash goes, "Hi, Dale," and gives him a big hug. And he lit up because he was like, "This beautiful woman is giving me a hug." So funny. And so we got to talking, and they're wonderful people. I love them.
They are. Carnivore Kay says, "I was too, City. I was scared to death. He and Ash make it look so easy. Cutest couple ever."
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn says, "But Ash, you're willing to cook for Mel." Yes, she is. We had a blast getting to meet you guys in line at KPL. What a joyful way to begin our trip there. Yes. And he said, Dale is a legend.
He is. He's so funny.
Dale is the coolest. Loved meeting y'all. Yeah. So your Meniere's is gone after the surgeries and everything?
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, it's gone. People do not like to say healed or, just in remission. And I keep it in remission, from going to my other. So
that's great.
Yeah.
I know the tinnitus is still there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's ever, we keep, my sisters and I, three of my sisters, two of my sisters and me, we all have it.
Yeah.
My sister Deb does not. And she's lucky.
Yeah.
But my other two sisters, they get it really, really loud.
Yeah.
So when I go to bed, everybody says, "Oh, you should have a dark room and all this." Well, I need the noise.
I do too.
This out from the TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not the only one. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you focus on this.
Yeah.
On what's going on in here instead of going to sleep.
Yes.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
Yes. Here is Allie's channel.
Oh, thank you.
Brenda said she just subbed.
Oh, thank you, Brenda.
So much. Brenda. And I meant to do that before, so.
No, that's great.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, it's great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. So what else? Kay just subscribed.
Yep. Thank you, Kay.
Yeah. So everything else, how much weight did you wind up losing? We never touched base on that.
Yeah.
Did you have much to lose?
I did. I had 50 pounds. I lost 50 pounds. So I lost 35 pounds. I was looking back on my, videos to see. I lost about 35 pounds in 9 months. So I couldn't believe it. I went all last summer. This is something else I'll tell you. I have Graves' disease. So when I was 30, we were trying to get pregnant and it took a little bit of time. And I was starting to have these weird symptoms. My hands would get really hot. Isn't that weird? And I was having hot flashes at 30 and then my heart would race. And so I went to my doctor and she's like, well, let's check your thyroid levels. And then it came back that I had hyperthyroid, which is not as common as hypo, but I had hyper. And it was Graves' disease, which is autoimmune. Mine is autoimmune hyperthyroiditis. And the treatment is a pill. Sounds crazy when I tell people, but the treatment is to go to nuclear med and have a pill that will destroy your thyroid function, completely destroy it. And then you have to take a pill to replace it because you have to have a thyroid function. Because it's a hormone. So I did that at 30 because I was desperate to have a baby. I was like, we're having a baby. Dale's 7.5 years older than me. We'd been married for 3 years. My clock was ticking and I had a plan for my life. And, this is so I had to wait. We had to wait 6 to 9 months to get pregnant because the mother's thyroid, and I had taken like radioactive iodine is what the treatment is, the pill. And that affects the baby, and all that. So I really wasn't told, and I really didn't understand that I this would affect my life and my health, my hormone health for the rest of my life. And if I don't have my medication, my supplement, because you have to have it to live, then I will die. Slowly. It won't be overnight or anything, but it's like,
Wow.
type 1 diabetic has to have, the
Insulin.
pancreas doesn't,
Yes.
yeah. So it's a similar idea.
Mhm.
And so I did that treatment, and so I'm always hypothyroid. I have to regulate it pretty well. And there was not a ton of counseling after that. It's just like, oh, come in every 6 months and we will check your blood and check your level, and then we'll give you medicine, to see where your dose is. Well, your dose, it can be really tough to manage. So I had done that for, 17 years. I've been taking the medicine, and I never really, I would call into the doctor's office. Oh, well, what dose were you on this last time? And I would tell them, it was, I was just out there on my own. But last summer I had some pretty seriously low thyroid levels, and I didn't realize it. I wasn't going for me, I need to have mine monitored with, it can even be like in 3 or 4 weeks, I could have a big shift and I need to get it
Wow.
monitored. But I didn't know that because the specialists had never told me that. And the endocrinologist had never told me that. And so I figured that out. I learned that from being in Dr. Barry's community and talking to some of those experts and saying, well, I'm having, like hair loss, or I'm having like really dry skin. And they're like, have you checked your levels lately? And I was like, oh, well, I guess not. But I just did it 2 months ago. They're like, no, if you're having symptoms, you've got to go and get it checked. So they've been a great resource for me. So anyway, so I stalled in the middle in the summer I hadn't lost any weight, and I was fine with that. But then once I got my thyroid level managed and regulated, I started losing weight. So I lost 35 pounds. That was the long way around telling you. I lost 35
It's okay.
pounds in the first 9 months, and I was super happy. The other thing I learned about and started looking into was like circadian rhythm and, just lifestyle free things like getting up, going outside, walking, those kinds of things. And since December of last year, I think around January, I started losing a little bit more weight. And so I have steadied out, and I lost another 15 pounds. So I've leveled out and been consistently my weight now, for over a year and a half. And
You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
the health is the most, obviously. Weight loss is a benefit. Health is the main reason
Right.
to change the way you eat and find what works best for you.
Yeah.
And yeah. Brenda wants to know, were we at the table with you at Brazario's, the Brazilian restaurant in Louisville?
Right. I was there Saturday night, and oh gosh, we were with the most wonderful people. Were you at my table, Brenda?
Her husband, if they were, her husband's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Wait, what's her husband's name? Do you know? Do you remember?
And I can't, for the life of me, I don't. Brenda, what's your husband's name?
Yeah,
honey?
tell us, Brenda.
I can't remember. And Jeff just subscribed to you also.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. I was there with Tucci. Do you know, is it Tucci? Yeah, I think she said it rhymed with Gucci. Wonderful people. Her husband, and I can see his face, and her sister-in-law. Am I crazy?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
My sister and my niece and I, we didn't go there this year because we went last year, and I can't eat enough food for that kind of money.
Oh, well, yeah, I did eat a lot.
I love Tucci.
Yes, Tucci. Okay. Hi, Evelyn. Yeah, Ketopalooza is great. So I was born in New Albany, which is over the river in the Indiana side.
Mhm.
And so I've been to Louisville, several times. Never stayed at the Galt House, of course, and have never been to the restaurants or Fourth Street Entertainment or whatever. But I was, just familiar with being, from that side, from the other side of the river in
Being
Indiana.
in the area, yeah.
So that was really one of the reasons I wanted to go, because we live in Tennessee now. So we live over by Memphis. We live in that side of Tennessee. Everybody always thinks Tennessee, Nashville, or Gatlinburg, and I'm like, nope, we're on the other side. We're on the other end. Yeah.
Well, I live in Kentucky, so
Where do you like? What area do you live in?
in Richmond,
Okay.
off of 75.
Okay. Okay. So over more towards like Lexington that way.
Yeah, just south of Lexington.
South. Okay. We lived in Lexington when I was a kid for 4 years. My dad went to UK. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved to New England in the late 90s.
Mm.
And I met Brian in 2003.
Yeah.
And we just moved here in 2021.
Oh, okay. All
So,
right.
yeah, it's getting back towards my roots and closer to my sisters.
Yeah.
But we left all our kids and grandkids up in New Hampshire, and now we have a great grandson on the way. Due any day, really, any time till the end of the month. Her due date is the 20th. My granddaughter's, and her birthday is the 21st.
Oh, that's fun.
So, but she's moving right along.
Good.
She is. She sends me pictures of her baby bump every week.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
She's like 5'8", skinny as a rail.
Yeah,
and now she's got this belly.
Yeah, probably like a basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I would show you. She don't care.
Yeah,
I'll show you.
Okay.
She really don't care. She's so sweet. I told her I'm gonna put a video together of her baby bumps.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Well,
that's her last one.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah, she posted a post on Facebook earlier. She said, "Trying to sleep when you're pregnant is ridiculous, and I'm so sick of it now."
Yeah,
something like that. She's so over it. She said, "I'm tired."
Yep,
yeah, she's good. But I can't imagine everything you've gone through with the ear thing. Like I said, I've had vertigo off and on. I've had inner ear infections off and on since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I think the worst thing I had done is about vertigo, and it was actually the crystals in your ears. And when they do the Epley maneuver?
Yeah.
Oh my word. I was at a doctor's office and they pushed the table back and I felt like I was going to just,
yes.
I said, nope, I got to sit up. Nope, can't do this. Nope, not doing it. I'll do it for myself at home, but nope.
Oh.
So I still go through those every once in a while when I feel like it's coming on and it's not going away. I'll force myself to do those maneuvers myself, because to have them done to you, and oh my word, that's horrible.
Yeah.
It's so hard because the whole room is just like spinning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. But and then they watch your eyes and your eyes are going.
Nystagmus is what that's called. And I started developing more symptoms after, I'd had Meniere's for a long time. And so I would have my eyes would draw up like to the corner of the room. It was the weirdest thing. And I couldn't, control it. And then they'd start twitching. Back and forth.
You can feel it. You can definitely feel it.
It's awful.
Have you hit that like button today? That's a good thing. Evelyn, thank you.
No.
But if you were to,
Mhm.
I'm sure you've come across a lot of people, and I know you and Sana have hooked up about Meniere's and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware. She and I used to do these live streams together,
I didn't
and then
realize
she
that. Yeah.
had her baby, and
Mhm.
But yeah, she was telling me. She said, "Oh, I see you're going to have Allie on." She said we kind of hooked up some and talk about, because she had that possibility of having Meniere's, and thankfully it was negative.
Yeah.
So when the last time she went to the doctor, they that wasn't it at all. So hopefully
Yeah.
she gets herself squared away too.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
but
so. Yeah.
how many other people, because it is such a rare thing and you don't hear about it often.
Yeah.
Have
I
you come across a lot of people?
Well, in the last couple of years, I have started to hear about it more and more people know about it. If I say, "Oh, have you ever heard of Meniere's?" They're like, "Oh yeah, my dad has it," or whatever. Um, but interestingly, so I used to be in the big support group on Facebook for that like years ago. But after 2014, after I had my surgery, I never got into it again. Um, and I did go back about 6 weeks ago, and that's how I hooked up with Sana. And there are almost 40,000 people, and yeah, of course, it's worldwide. But I was like, there are people coming into that thing every day saying, "I just got diagnosed," and they think it's Meniere's, or maybe it's vestibular migraines, or it's this or this. And I'm like, gosh, all of these people. And then about several months ago, in the spring, we Dale and I are from Indiana, and so we went back to Indiana. Dale's from Indianapolis. I know Dustin's in Indy or around
Yeah,
Indy.
Dusty.
Dustin,
Dustin is in Indianapolis. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Dale's from Wanamaker. Dustin, if you're still there, you'll be one of the few people that knows about Wanamaker. And then I'm from Bloomington, so I'm from where IU is. Anyway, why was I telling you that? We were in Indiana, and we had a realtor. We were talking to a realtor, and she said her dad was having. They think maybe he has Meniere's. And then I talked to, like, a month later, we were back in Indiana, and we were talking to somebody, a realtor, and she said the same thing. They thought maybe her mom had it. And I'm like, why are, it just seems to be coming up more, but I don't know there's nobody in my family that had it. And I don't know, like, I don't have any friends that have it, that kind of thing. But it does. That's true, Evelyn. Um, Dustin and Indy, Dusty, yes. But it does seem like more and more people will say, "Hey, I have a friend that that they're having problems," and that kind of thing. So, and then I made some friends in the support group,
Right.
also, and then um, and how they're dealing with it, because I was actually looking on YouTube a couple months ago, um, for someone that has had a labyrinthectomy, because I had mine 10 years ago, and I don't know, what to expect. And this sounds like the craziest thing. I even asked Dr. Barry about it on one of his lives, but my ear hole is smaller. It's like gotten smaller. And I'm like, is it because there's a void of bone? Is my skull like, and I'm kind of like
Wow.
crooked, and I'm like, what is going on? And I don't have anybody to ask, but I did look on YouTube, and there was someone else that's making some videos, and he had a labyrinthectomy. So at least I can commiserate with him, and I can say, "Hey, Dave, what's your
Right.
ear hole doing?" or whatever. But, so it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Well, it helps finding that person.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like people in this community finding each other.
Yeah,
This is like
exactly.
the best community I have ever, been a part of
Yeah,
anything. And it's just incredible.
I agree. I agree. Especially when you have nobody in your life that really understands, or.
Mhm. I have I know you have to set the example for family members. And you told me earlier that your brother and
Yes.
his wife
Yep.
and your mom.
Yes.
I mean, that's fantastic. They're
It is
all
fantastic.
carnivore.
Yes.
I mean, phew,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
I have kids that I wish would really listen.
Right.
Because they're very, one is very unhealthy. The other one, he's not the healthiest for sure.
Yeah.
And grandkids the same way. It's like, I've set the example, folks. Wake up
Right.
before you get my age. Wake the heck up.
Yeah.
It's harder. It wasn't hard. I can't say that. It was easy for me because I had the mindset in the right place. I was determined once I got on board.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you know, but my sister Deb, who's usually in the chat, I don't know where she is tonight, but she got me started on keto in 2020.
Yeah.
And well, she tried like 3 months before I actually started it.
Uh-huh.
So, I tell her all the time, I have her to thank. She says, you did all the hard work, but it wasn't. Those 3 months that she kept, we have a 4-way sister chat goes on. So there's 4 of us girls.
Uh-huh.
And for 3 months, she kept putting little hints in the chat about keto and let's do this together and da-da-da. Well, our other 2 sisters, nope. So I looked at my husband one day. I said, I'm going to do this, if no other reason to shut her up. Because
that's awesome.
And but it was funny. And then we just kind of veered off from that chat about keto. I mean, we all still have the chat going, of course.
Yes, but sure. Yeah.
When it's about this, when it's about this, the keto community or anything keto,
yeah,
it's our chat. It's we keep it amongst ourselves.
Yes.
So because they got a little tired of hearing it, but
that's funny.
It was funny. So yeah, it was. But when I started, I had that 3 months to really think about it long and hard and okay, maybe I need to do this. And of course I was almost 300 pounds at the time.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I don't remember ever having an A1C done until I asked my doctor after I started keto.
Yeah.
To do an A1C check. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, I loved my doctor. He was fantastic. He took the time to listen to us and so he did it. And when I went back for the results, I got the results on my chart. And when I went for a follow-up, I brought it to his attention because it was 5.8. Okay. Now, like I said, I was almost 300 pounds.
Yeah.
After having gastric bypass years ago and losing weight, gaining it back and gaining hypoglycemic episodes because of the gastric bypass and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That, I went to him and he said, listen, you've already lost 20 pounds because I had just started keto like 2 weeks before.
Wow.
He said, I'm not worried about you. He said, you're doing what you need to do. Good. This was, telling him what I was doing. And he was always behind me. This was in New Hampshire, of course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So my doctor now, she's the coolest.
Yeah.
I brought her some keto chow and some Choc Zero that she gave to her mother. The Choc Zero she gave to her mother, who was a type 1 diabetic. She said she feels like she can have something she enjoys again. And, she thanked me all over the place. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yes. It's like, wow. Allie, what would be the top tips you'd give to someone experiencing the same issues you were to address the trouble as efficiently as possible?
Okay. Top tips. If somebody was dealing with like serious thyroid issues and or Meniere's or any kind of inner ear, dizziness, tinnitus, fullness in your ear, vertigo, I said dizziness. So I would say, do beef, butter, bacon, eggs, triple B&E for 90 days. If my doctors had said, if they had known and all that jazz, if they had said, you need to adhere to, beef, butter, and bacon and eggs as an elimination diet for 90 days when I was, really wanting to get pregnant or when I was really sick with Meniere's, I would have done it. Especially, like if a doctor had told me that. I'm a rule follower, and I would have been like, yes, I'll do this. But I would certainly say to try to do that. And no, I would also say, to that person, think about, are you an all or nothing person, or are you a moderator? Because I'm an abstainer. I have to do nothing or all of it. And if you lean more to moderation, like my husband Dale, that's lucky, then maybe you can ease into it. Maybe just I can't ease into things, so I had to do all or nothing. But if you know that might help. Also say, oh, well, maybe I'll start doing this too. The other thing I would look into, and it just naturally happens, is intermittent fasting. And what never worked for me, that I tried 100 times. Yes, this is not medical advice. This is just my experience. Thank you, Evelyn. And what was I? Oh no.
What you would tell somebody.
Yes.
I'll put his question back up there.
I lost well, that doesn't happen often, but I did lose the train of thought. So
well, you had said that your husband
intermittent fasting. I remember it now. Okay. So what I had tried dozens and dozens of times, because I did not mention this, and I will say I had an emotional eating background. I'd had it since I was a child, a very young child. I can remember, very young memories of associating rewards with, sweets and things like that. And it developed into an unhealthy, eating habit. So eating habits especially when I was older. So I would do intermittent fasting, maybe ease into that. Also, I noticed that is my natural eating pattern now, because I'm eating such filling, satiating food. So I don't have blood sugar, I don't get sugar spikes and crashes and that kind of thing. But when I'm hungry, and I eat, I've worked on a lot of that stuff too. But I would suggest looking into intermittent fasting. I think that can be a powerful tool as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think with the issues that you have, or had.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. For someone experiencing the same issues as me, yes.
I think if anybody in general that wanted to get started on this.
Yeah.
I would say, I did intermittent fasting right off the bat. I did the 20 carbs or less, the intermittent fasting. Still 2 meals a day. We never eat breakfast unless we're out. I can't say never. If we're out for the day early, my favorite breakfast is McDonald's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A sausage McMuffin with egg without the bread.
Right.
Like, yay.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
I would tell everybody, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Yes.
And just do it. Just, get your mind through what's more important, your health or the crap food that you think you need.
Right. Yeah.
It's tough. I think if somebody had ever put that to me that way, is it more important for you to be healthy or to have those potato chips?
Right.
Or that chocolate bar? Or, all the other garbage that I was eating.
Right. Yeah.
I think that would have been, Debbie, where are you? That's what you should have said to me. I might have started earlier.
Right. Yeah.
I had gotten away from extended fasting. I started back up 4 weeks ago now. I feel so much better. Yay, Evelyn. 1 36-hour fast a week is really helping my health.
Yeah. That's great. I cannot do any extended fasting anymore. It's very hard for me to do it. I did that in the very beginning, just a little bit, But I always did like I don't know. I I have to eat about at least twice a day. I eat at least twice a day. And so I can't go longer than, a 24-hour period. I can't do extended fasting anymore. And I just think it's because I've hit where my body is, weight wise, and I'm maintaining it. I just can't.
Yeah. Chris is writing a free intro to keto carnivore ebook that will be available in the near future. Well, just make sure you mention us, Chris, because we're giving you these tips. And hearing real tips and stories makes it easier to know how to communicate with stuff. Just make sure we're mentioned. And
That's
my sister
right.
decides to pop in. I believe I said something similar for 40 years.
Oh.
Where you been? Not something similar, straightforward to the point, because this is a stubborn Taurus here.
Right, yeah. No, that's funny. Oh, hi. Hi, Judy. That's
Hello, hello, ladies.
How are you? Oh, thanks everybody for being here. Thanks again, Cindy, for having me on your channel.
I appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. And on that, unless you have anything else to add, or if your husband wants to make a pop-in appearance and say hello, he surely can.
He took the girls and they went out. And so they went out to run an errand or something. I don't know. I said, I'm getting ready to get on the live. Quiet, quiet on set.
It's like, get out.
Yeah.
That's why I closed this door here, right here.
Yeah.
Brian's in the garage. This man is working so hard.
Oh.
Because we're selling coasters and cutting boards, for those that don't know.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah.
And part of that goes to help Hope and Andy of Mission Keto, Mission Carnivore, who lost everything in a fire.
Oh.
And we have managed to, we give them $10 for every set that we sell.
Okay.
So every cutting board, every set of coasters, and I have jewelry that I make, and mostly earrings.
Yeah.
So far, over and above what we donated to the GoFundMe that was started, we've been able to send them $250 just from
good
little orders. So
wow, that's great.
Yeah, they're great. You're both wonderful. We love you both.
Yes.
Thank you both so much. Thank you, Kay. And Kay is going to be on in 2 weeks.
Today's the 6th.
20th.
Okay. Can you believe it's December 6th?
Oh, it's crazy.
I can't believe it.
It's crazy. Debbie says, stubborn? Very. I am. Thanks for sharing your wonderful story.
Thank you for listening.
Doing good under hard, tough times.
I know you are, Judy. Oh, no.
I saw that one. Good night, friends. Ash says, thank you again for sharing your story. You ladies are both just wonderful. Thanks for all you do. And yes, Kay, same. I look forward to all of these.
I do too.
Everybody's stories are so incredibly important and so eye-opening, like things, especially when there's things like in your case that I haven't gone through.
Sure. Yeah.
Knock on wood. And, all that kind of, it's like, wow, I can't even imagine being in this person's shoes and doing this and going through all that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure, of course. Thank you for having me. I like to get on here and talk to people because I like, to say, hey, this is something that you can try, see if it works, see what works for you, that kind of thing. But I just like talking to people. I like talking to people,
I like getting to know people too.
Me too. Yeah.
It's hard. Like as we said earlier at KPL, it's really hard because it's such a busy weekend.
Yeah.
And when you're just meeting someone and it's really hard to grab that time to just get to know that person. It's like, hi, how are you? Da, da, da. And then that's about it.
Yeah.
And then you're off, whatever.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this, and this avenue of getting to meet people is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
So, well, I want to thank everyone in the chat. And I need to do this right here. I want to thank all of my members. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, it means a lot more than you know.
Yes.
You never know who's listening and needs help.
That's right.
And we're saying good night, all. You both are keeping me on track. Yay!
Good.
Yay. That's important.
Yeah.
You know, health-wise, I have, real quick, I get like I said, the hypoglycemic episodes as a result of the gastric bypass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if I don't stay on track.
Yeah.
So if I go crazy and eat something really stupid and can't get enough protein in with it, that's when I wind up with blood sugars in the 40s. It's crazy.
My goodness. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It gets a bit crazy. So I really, not only is it healthier for me to stay on here, there's that reason for me to continue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a life thing, you know, if I want to live anytime, you know, it's like,
right.
And Brian is my definite why, you know, with him being diabetic and keeping his blood sugars under control for type 1 diabetic. And I know there are those that have a normal A1C as a type 1.
Mm-hmm. When
I met this man, his A1C was 17.
Oh my.
When we moved from New Hampshire, it was 7.9.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And his endo was telling him, oh, you need carbs as a diabetic. No, you don't.
Right.
And he told him that. He told his doctor that. So now he's leveled off at 6.4.
Yeah.
He hit 6.1 one day. We were at the doctor's office and he walked out of there in tears.
Oh.
He said, I didn't think I'd ever see numbers like this.
Yeah.
But it's leveled off. Like I said, it lasts few times and he goes every 3 months and they check it.
Yeah.
It's been 6.4 and that's awesome.
Yes. Wow.
Carnivore cinnamon pancake with peppermint flavored whipped cream. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm hungry.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone in the chat, all my members. Justin, I don't know where you went to, but thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
And Allie, thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you.
You hang out, and I will see you all Wednesday with Brian and next Friday with Paleo Barbie, Lindy Britt. Yes. So we'll see you then. Bye. Good night.
Bye.